Hi, everybody.
Hi.
June and I are going to talk about AI again. This time we're going to do something a little different. We've been talking a lot about chatbots and text generation. Today we're going to talk about generating images. So for this, I'm going to give an overview of what AI image generation is all about, how people are using it today, both for fun and for profit. I'm going to make a very important plea about image generation that you need to have a pre-moderation flow. You'll see why. And then June is going to give a demo of an actual possible real-life scenario that would apply to our clients today. Now, there is a few things to know about the ecosystem for AI image generation. There's a few very popular things out there today. Midjourney is one that we are all very familiar with because that is what is used to generate a ton of the graphics for our presentations. That runs on someone else's machine. There's also DALL-E 3, which is made by OpenAI, the same company that makes ChatGPT. Stability AI is another platform out there. Their product is Stable Diffusion, which is an open source product, but they also host it and you can pay them to generate the images for you. And these days, there's stuff you can run on your own machine. Like I mentioned, Stable Diffusion, the open source product, and even Adobe Photoshop these days, you can just type into a box and it generates images for you with AI. Now, part of the reason we're talking about this is because DALL-E 3 has very recently come out. They've just announced it in the last few weeks. And even though Midjourney, you can pay for the access to go use it, there's no API for it. But DALL-E 3 and Stability AI both have APIs. And so you can make programmatic calls to these, get back images, and then do stuff with it. And just for context, DALL-E 3, the cost per image is about 2 cents. Stability AI is a little more expensive. It's like $1.60. So we probably won't spend much more time talking about Stability AI. Now, there are a lot of typical safe for work applications that people are using this technology for today. One of those is generating images of actors eating spaghetti. They do this because AI doesn't know how to make a picture of a person eating spaghetti. So it's really, really weird. People make D&D character artwork. Lots of people, so many people are doing this because D&D is really popular, not just a nerdy thing anymore. There are people out there using this technology to try to make QR codes suck less. This is an actual scannable QR code. They said, I actually never tested it. I'll click ahead real quick before someone proves me wrong. People are using this to generate images of virtual partners. There's this word here, and I'm not going to share any pictures of that at all, because that's just not the audience or place for it. And people are also using this to create fake content for internet points and to destabilize societies. There are also more useful applications. So for people who make video games, there's this whole process of generating like every variation of a particular graphic. It's called sprites. And as you can see here, it's incredibly tedious work to generate all these variations, and AI can just do that, which is pretty cool. People are using them for presentation graphics. Yep, should look familiar there. Some of the really cool stuff that I've seen is restoration of old photos. And just generally like making adjustments to those, and the technology for that is really, really cool. And just like we use ChatGPT just for like brainstorming, like to give us ideas and to bounce things off of them, we do the same thing with image generation. So there's like a whole new pipeline for creatives, which is like talk to a image generator to come up with concepts, and then go take the concepts and make it for real, right? If you look close at any of these, they're garbage. Like they're completely unusable as is. But a person who has the right skill set can take those and make something amazing. Now, why are we talking about this? DALL-E 3, I mentioned, recently came out. DALL-E 2 has been out for a while, and DALL-E 2 is really cool, but the leap in the quality of the technology is pretty incredible. Like what a lot of the DALL-E 2 stuff had this like impressionist oil painting vibe to it, which was cool, but it was like missing a lot of details, doing lots of weird stuff. DALL-E 3 is incredible. And if you don't remember, it's 2 cents per image. So like this might be worth 2 cents to someone, right? Where maybe a year ago, the one on the left would not have been worth 2 cents to anybody. So what are some of the possible applications today for the type of work that we do for our clients? Well, we build a lot of sites that have content, and that content looks best when it's accompanied by relevant imagery. And so we could maybe start using this kind of thing to generate like backgrounds that are relevant to the content that you're looking at. We could maybe generate like header graphics, like that would be like across the top, that big like splashy hero image on a profile page. Custom icons are like, we have Font Awesome, which covers so much, but like sometimes you need a custom thing. You can maybe get at least concepts right now. And if you're gonna need like a photograph placeholder anyway, you could generate one that's like relevant to the thing that you're working on. Right? Type in what the ideal picture would be for that placeholder, spit it out, drop it in. Now, let's talk about that pre-moderation flow, because you can definitely get some really, really weird or bad output. And the reason you get that is because there is, generally speaking, you're going to take a prompt like white background pattern flat design, and then you're going to take the content from the database and just add that in, like the name of the subject that the student is learning, or the name of the company, or the description of the company whose profile page you're working on. You don't know what words are going to be in that description and how the AI might turn those words into something like super weird or something super inappropriate, right? So you basically got like an injection attack when we're dealing with like database content. And so pre-moderation flow just means that a human is going to look at the picture before it gets shown to other humans, right? And so just trust me, and if you don't trust me, trust Shia LaBeouf, who says just do it. And this is AI's attempt at generating Shia LaBeouf saying just do it. I don't really think any of these would pass the pre-moderation flow, right?
DUI's Department of Transportation.
DUIs, do it. Yeah, got to be careful. Now, we're going to do a demo, which of course means I get to hand it off to June to show us how this actually works. And our user story is, as a user adding my own text-based content, I want relevant background images so that people reading my content feel immersed in the subject. June, take it away.
Alrighty. I'm going to share my screen here. And that's not, okay. Here we go. Cut that. Sorry. So I built a demo, and this is going to show us first what it would look like to have just on-the-fly images generated. So I have a home page here and some content that's definitely not the B script, the B movie script. So if we change to science and we read an article about science and not what's his name, Jerry Seinfeld being a bee, we will see a fancy little science themed background so that we can read about science and see science all in one. And we can do that for each subject, and it'll generate a new one. It will take a sec because it's running it on the fly right now. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's, interesting, but I don't know if that's math. So we, here lies the problem. Here's another fun one is if we go to English, because I'm just dropping the subject of English into the prompt, it generates, hold on a sec,
Drum roll, please.
English things like pots and British flags. So let's take a look at what a pre-moderation situation might look like and how that might help. So let's go back to our math. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Let's select math here, and you can see also it also helps to like narrow it down a little bit. So if we generate a few different options for, say, trigonometry specifically, you'll see that we have some options that maybe, I mean, that's nice, but not really very mathy, but this one looks pretty good. So you get some options here. That way you don't just leave it up to the AI to decide for you which one's the best. And then you can kind of, again, like I mentioned, break it down. So instead of just history, if it's US history, we get something a little bit more specific, and it'll give us some more specific options, obviously. So this is going to give us like George Washington and American flags and stuff. Kind of like what English gave us, but actually it's relevant. And yeah, we'll do one more here so you can just see the difference between the two different kinds of history and what that kind of brings up, but we'll take a second. Fun fact about DALL-E 3, you can only make one call at a time for right now, so it takes quite a bit of time to run 4 of those in parallel and wait for the response, and it may have crashed. So I'm just going to reload real quick and try this again.
Another good reason to use pre-moderated images instead of on-the-fly images.
Yeah, because it takes a while. You can do it. Anyway.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume that it's broken again, but we can wait for that to come up and I can show you that. But in the meantime, any questions?
Yeah. What questions do we have about the demo, about what we've shared with today, or just about AI image generation in general?
Is there a pre-moderation tool out there off the shelf, or that probably have to be built for every specific project?
If you already had a moderation pipeline in your project, it would probably be pretty easy to add in like batches of these images into it. If you don't have that yet, if you're not like having user-generated content that you're moderating, then you need to add that flow. But with the general direction of AI stuff, having that type of like moderation pipeline is going to become more and more common for lots of projects.
It's really cool.
And it loaded.
Yeah, no, we can see there's some like ancient history kind of stuff, like Egypt. Anyway, that's my presentation. So that's my demo.
Thank you so much. We've already covered questions, so thank you all so much. Now you see just like a little taste of what is possible today, and this stuff's only going to get better and better. And all the examples you saw was us spending like a very tiny amount of time doing any prompt tweaking, and it's already pretty good. So a little bit more effort and we'd have stuff that we could be using in production for projects today. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Awesome.